Finally, God is exposing your son. Chosen one, this message you are about to hear is a divine revelation from the throne room of heaven. If these words have reached your ears, it is not by accident, and it is not random. It is heaven breaking through time itself to meet you in this very moment. Before you were even born, this hour was written into eternity, and the Spirit of God now declares with unmistakable clarity, it all begins and ends tonight because of you. You have endured storms that tried to shatter your spirit, battles that seemed endless, and seasons that tested every ounce of your faith. You have cried in silence, questioning whether heaven still heard you. But heaven has seen. Heaven has counted every tear, every restless night, every prayer whispered through trembling lips, and now the hand of God is moving not in secret, but in power. The heavens themselves have opened because this is the appointed hour, the time long sealed in heaven's calendar. Finally, God is exposing your son. This is not a message of fear, but of truth, one that carries the full gravity of heaven. The Archangel Michael stands beside you as these words are spoken, his presence radiant and commanding, his sword drawn in light. He speaks, not as a messenger of comfort, but as a herald of revelation, saying, "Do not tell anyone yet. The greatest truth is being revealed to you right now. This truth will shake your spirit. It will bend everything you thought you knew. It will open a veil that has been kept closed for far too long. Your son stands at the center of something sacred and serious. He has carried a burden too long, one that does not belong to him alone. This burden is not merely emotional, it is spiritual. It is ancient. It is woven into the fabric of your bloodline, passed quietly through generations, waiting for the hour when someone would finally break it. God says, "The hour has come." This is not punishment, it is prophecy. Your son has been living between two worlds, the world of divine purpose and the world of silent bondage. One foot in light, one in shadow. And though you prayed for him, though you begged heaven to protect him, some truths must surface before redemption can begin. Every secret carries a sound, and heaven has heard his. Every hidden tear has been counted. Every battle fought in silence has been seen. He has been running not from you, but from the weight he cannot understand. And now heaven says, enough. The covering that once shielded him has been lifted. What was whispered in the dark is being brought to the light. Do not mistake this for shame. Exposure is not destruction. Exposure is deliverance. For where the light of God enters, darkness has no place to hide. You will soon stand face to face with the truth. It may shake your heart. It may challenge your understanding. But heaven assures you it will not destroy you. The revelation will come like a storm, but after the storm, the air will be clear. You will breathe again. You will see your son not as he pretends to be, but as heaven designed him to be. He is not lost. He is entangled. He is not condemned. He is chosen. The enemy saw his destiny and tried to bury it beneath guilt, shame, and confusion, but God is unearthing it. The Lord says, I am pulling him from the shadows, for the light must reclaim what belongs to me. Do not let fear take root in your heart. Do not let panic shape your response. The veil lifting is not a threat. It is mercy. This unveiling is the answer to prayers you prayed long ago, prayers you may have forgotten you had prayed. Every sleepless night, every whispered plea for your son's safety has reached heaven's court. And now, heaven acts. The truth will hurt before it heals, but it will heal. The light may be blinding at first, but it will guide. The voice of Michael declares, what you are about to see is not the end, it is the beginning. What is revealed will restore, what is exposed will be redeemed. So prepare your heart, child of faith. The veil is thinning, the truth is moving, and the hands of heaven are upon your household. The unseen is about to be seen, and what was hidden will no longer rule in silence. Stand firm, watch closely, for when the veil falls, you will understand why the delay was divine, why the pain was necessary, and why your son was always at the center of heaven's plan. When heaven exposes, it is never random, it is never cruel, it is never to shame, but always to save. God does not reveal to destroy, he reveals to deliver. Every unveiling carries a purpose, and this purpose is sacred. What you are witnessing is not chaos, it is divine order breaking through confusion. For too long, what was meant for freedom has been bound by silence. What was meant to heal has been hidden. What was meant to grow has been suffocated by fear. And now, heaven says, no more. The purpose of exposure begins first at the personal level. God exposes what weighs the soul so that it can finally be lifted. Your son's secret is not merely a problem to solve, it is a door to his deliverance. The darkness he carried could no longer stay unchallenged. Every hidden thing becomes a chain, and every chain eventually tightens until it breaks the one who wears it. God, in his mercy, breaks the silence before it can break your son. This is why the exposure feels heavy. It is the sound of chains snapping. What looks like unraveling is really releasing. What feels like loss is actually liberation. Heaven removes what is false so that truth can breathe again. Then comes the second layer, the family. God never works in isolation. The exposure of one soul is often the healing of an entire bloodline. Your son's truth is not his alone. It is connected to generations that came before. There were promises once spoken over your family, words of light that the enemy has fought to erase. The same spirit that tried to silence your son once tried to silence others before him. But God, in his perfect timing, chose this moment to confront the darkness at its root. When one person stands in truth, the whole house is redeemed. What affects one heart affects the whole lineage. And when truth enters a home, peace follows behind it. Heaven says, I am cleansing not only his heart, but your heritage. Finally, there is the divine layer, the highest one. Exposure is not just about a single person or family, it is about destiny. Every revelation echoes in eternity. When God shines light, it alters the spiritual atmosphere. The unveiling of your son is a signal to the heavens and to hell alike that the tide has turned. Heaven declares that what once belonged to darkness has been reclaimed by the light. The enemy kept your son entangled because he carried something powerful, something prophetic, something that could not remain hidden forever. That is why this moment matters. This exposure is not the end of his calling, it is the beginning of it. The fire that tried to consume him will now refine him. The shame that tried to drown him will now become his testimony. Do not resist what God reveals. Do not run from the light. The pain of truth is momentary, but the power of truth is eternal. Every secret surrendered becomes a seed for redemption. Every confession becomes a key to freedom. Every tear becomes water that softens the ground for new growth. Do not call this a crisis, call it a cleansing. Do not see this as destruction, see it as divine construction. God is rebuilding what the enemy tried to break. You may ask, why does it have to hurt? Because transformation always costs something. You cannot be healed from what you still hide. You cannot be freed from what you still defend. The truth, no matter how heavy, is lighter than deception. God is not exposing to embarrass. He is exposing to empower. This is what love looks like when it is fierce. It is love that tears down walls. It is love that unmasks the wound. It is love that says, enough pretending, let me make you whole. So, lift your head. Do not let fear own this moment. You are not watching your family fall apart. You are watching heaven set it free. You are not losing control. You are gaining clarity. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. The truth may burn, but it also blesses. It hurts because it heals. It shakes because it shifts. It exposes because it elevates. This is not destruction. This is deliverance. This is destiny unfolding before your eyes. And heaven declares, let what was hidden be revealed, and let what was bound be loosed. Every soul fights a war that the eyes cannot see. Your son has been fighting his battle in silence, an unseen struggle between light and shadow, truth and deception, destiny and delay. While the world saw an ordinary life, heaven saw a soldier wounded beneath his armor. You thought his silence was distance, his mood was rebellion, his confusion was just youth. But heaven says, no, it was warfare. He was fighting for his identity, for his purpose, for his very soul. There were nights when he lay awake, staring into the dark, afraid of his own thoughts. He carried a weight that words could not express. He smiled because he had to, not because he was at peace. He laughed because it was easier than explaining the storm inside him. You noticed something was wrong, the way his eyes looked tired, the way he withdrew, the way his energy shifted, but you couldn't name it. Heaven could. For every tear he hid, heaven recorded. For every prayer he didn't know how to speak, heaven translated. For every time he fell apart quietly, angels stood watch, whispering, "Hold on, help is coming." This is what spiritual warfare looks like. It is not loud. It is not visible. It is the quiet exhaustion that creeps in after pretending to be fine. It is the heaviness that clings even when life looks normal. It is the voice of the enemy that says, "You are alone. You are too far gone. You are unworthy." And yet, through every whisper of darkness, heaven's voice persisted. "You are chosen. You are marked. You are mine." He was never abandoned. Even in his lowest moments, divine hands held him up. When he felt forgotten, he was being fought for. When he felt surrounded by shadows, angels circled him like a fortress. When he thought he was lost, God was mapping a way home. Every misstep, every fall, every detour, none of it surprised heaven. Grace was already there, waiting. You must understand, your son's silence was not weakness, it was survival. He carried questions too heavy for his age, shame too deep for words, temptations too subtle to confess. The enemy does not waste time on those without purpose. He attacks those who carry promise, and your son carries promise. That is why his battles were fierce. That is why his path was hard. The greater the calling, the stronger the opposition, the darker the night, the brighter the dawn that follows. And now, heaven declares that the war is shifting. The angels who once watched in silence are now moving in power. The sword of Michael gleams in the unseen, cutting through every lie that wrapped itself around your son's heart. The chains that silence him are breaking. The guilt that bound him is dissolving. The curse that followed him is being crushed. Heaven shouts, "Enough, he belongs to me." This battle is not ending in defeat, it is ending in deliverance. But before victory, there must be unveiling. Before restoration, there must be revelation. What was hidden must come to light so that healing can begin. The exposure you fear is the very act that will end the war. It is heaven's way of saying, the enemy has no more ground to stand on. And you, the parent chosen for this hour, have been part of this battle all along. Every tear you cried was a weapon. Every prayer you whispered was a strike in the unseen realm. Every time you refused to give up, heaven advanced another step. You were never fighting alone. God was fighting through you. The same love that raised your prayers in the dark is the same love that now raises your son into the light. Heaven wants you to know this is not the story of defeat. It is the story of deliverance. The silent war that once defined him will soon become his greatest testimony. What once broke him will now build him. What once hurt him will now heal others. The battlefield will become the birthplace of his purpose. So do not despair when truth unfolds. Do not fear when he confesses. Do not tremble when the tears come. Let the truth flow like rain. It is washing the soil of your lineage clean. Let him speak, and let heaven finish what it began. This is not the sound of loss. It is the sound of liberation. The war that was fought in silence is being won in the open. The darkness is retreating. The light is advancing. And heaven stands, sword raised, declaring, the battle is over. The son is returning home. Destiny does not begin with one person. It flows through generations. What your son carries did not start with him. It began long before he took his first breath. Heaven reveals that the struggles, the patterns, the pain you could never explain were not random. They were inherited battles. They were unfinished wars passed through bloodlines, waiting for someone brave enough, faithful enough, chosen enough to confront them, and heaven declares that someone is you. Oh, every family carries both promises and wounds. Promises spoken by God that still wait to be fulfilled, and wounds inflicted by the enemy that still seek healing. Your bloodline has known both the moments of favor and the shadows of frustration, the blessings that almost broke through but somehow fell short. Heaven says these were not coincidences. They were the residue of spiritual interference. The enemy saw the potential woven into your lineage and sought to fracture it. He attacked unity, distorted communication, and sowed misunderstanding to keep hearts divided. But now, the cycle ends. The same truth that exposes your son is also breaking the curse that held your family captive. Your son is not just living his story. He is living the culmination of generations. His life is the battlefield where old altars fall and new promises rise. He carries the weight of redemption in his blood. What once looked like rebellion was actually resistance, the spirit within him refusing to continue a pattern of bondage. Heaven says, I am using him to rewrite the legacy of your family. This is why his journey felt heavier, why his storms felt personal. Because when destiny rests on someone's shoulders, the pressure is greater, the warfare sharper, the cost higher. The enemy does not fight the ordinary, he fights the ordained. But this exposure is not an ending, it is a covenant renewal. God is reclaiming what belongs to him. The same voice that called Abraham, the same fire that spoke to Moses, the same spirit that hovered over David, now speaks over your bloodline. The generational curse ends here. The blessing begins again. What the enemy tried to bury under shame, God is resurrecting in truth. The revelation about your son is heaven's way of cleansing what sin and silence once defiled. It is a divine reset. A breaking of ancient agreements made in ignorance, a tearing down of walls built by fear. You must see this through heaven's eyes. The exposure is not humiliation. It is inheritance being restored. Your family's name, once whispered under the weight of pain, is being rewritten in the records of heaven. Where there was guilt, there will be grace. Where there was conflict, there will be clarity. Where there was bondage, there will be blessing. God is not only freeing your son, he is freeing every generation connected to his name. He is turning mourning into legacy, ashes into anointing, pain into purpose. The angels who guarded your ancestors now stand again, their swords gleaming with new fire. They have waited for this hour, when someone in your lineage would finally surrender completely to truth. You are that one. Your obedience now becomes the bridge for future generations to walk across. The prayers you pray today will echo in the lives of children not yet born. The healing that begins in your home will ripple through time. So do not fear what is unfolding. This is not the destruction of your line, it is the redemption of it. The bloodline is being cleansed, the covenant restored, and destiny realigned. Heaven whispers, the battle that began before you will end with you, and through your son, I will raise a new generation of light-bearers who will not bow to darkness. The story is no longer about what was broken, it is about what is being reborn. Your family is stepping out of history and into prophecy. What once felt like pain without reason is now revealed as purpose with design. The bloodline is awakening, destiny is stirring, and heaven has written a new chapter that begins now. Heaven never chooses without purpose. You were not placed in this story by chance. You were chosen deliberately, intentionally, divinely, to stand when others would fall, to see when others would turn away, to hear what others could not bear. The Lord does not reveal truth to the indifferent. He entrusts it to the faithful, and heaven declares today, you are that faithful one. From the beginning, Your spirit was marked with endurance. You have survived things that should have broken you. You have loved when love was not returned. You have forgiven when forgiveness cost you everything. Each time you rose again, heaven took notice. Each time you whispered prayers through tears, heaven recorded. Each time you stood before God and said, "I still believe," heaven built an altar in your name. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being forged. You thought you were overlooked, but you were being prepared. Now heaven is calling you to step into your authority. This revelation is not meant to crush you, it is meant to crown you. The exposure of your son is not merely about him, it is also about awakening you. God has chosen you to be the anchor, the intercessor, the vessel through which restoration will flow. You are not the victim of this story, you are the vessel of victory. The weight you feel is not punishment, it is responsibility. The tears you cry are not weakness, they are weapons. The love you carry is not ordinary, it is sacred armor forged in the fire of your faith. You have been standing on holy ground all along, even when you didn't know it. Every heartbreak, every unanswered question, every delay has been the classroom where heaven trained you to handle revelation without fear. And now, that training ends. The mission begins. You are the appointed steward of truth in your house. Michael stands beside you, not as a distant messenger, but as a fellow warrior. His sword gleams, but your words are the weapon. The prayers that leave your lips will pierce darkness in ways you cannot imagine. The love you give will silence demons that have tormented your line for generations. The strength of heaven now flows through you. Do not say, "I am not ready." You are ready because heaven says you are. Do not say, "I am not strong enough." You are strong because grace has made you so. Do not say, "I cannot do this." You already have been doing this. Every time you chose faith over fear. Every time you covered your family in prayer. Every time you refused to curse what God still intended to bless. Heaven never calls the perfect. Heaven perfects the called. This moment is your ordination, not in a church, not in a ceremony, but in the secret chambers of heaven. God places a mantle upon your shoulders, a spiritual authority to intercede, to guard, to guide. You are not just a parent, you are a priest of your bloodline. Your prayers shift atmospheres, your obedience changes destinies, your faith rewrites history. The unseen world trembles when you speak truth. The enemy recognizes the sound of your voice because it carries the resonance of heaven. So rise now, not in panic but in purpose. The light that surrounds you is not meant to expose your shame, but to activate your strength. You were made for this hour. You were crafted for this chaos. You were shaped for this revelation. The destiny of your son is tied to your courage, and heaven has seen enough courage in you to trust you with the truth. The plan of God is unfolding not around you, but through you. This is not happening to you. It is happening because of you. Heaven has faith in your endurance, and that is why you were chosen. And hear this, your obedience will open doors your ancestors could never reach. Your prayers will create protection for your children's children. Your surrender will become the seed of generational healing. You are the hinge upon which your family's history turns. When you bow, heaven moves. When you speak, angels respond. When you believe, miracles begin. Every yes you give to God is a hammer that shatters ancient chains. So stand firm. Do not waver. The hour is serious, but it is holy. You are not alone in this assignment. Heaven backs you. Angels flank you. Grace surrounds you. The hand of God steadies you. The same spirit that hovered over creation now hovers over you. The same voice that spoke light into darkness now speaks through you. And heaven whispers, you were born for this moment. You are not just a witness to revelation, you are a participant in redemption. You are not just watching prophecy unfold, you are fulfilling it. Every breath you take is part of a divine rhythm. Every heartbeat a confirmation that you were chosen for such a time as this. Stand tall, child of God. The war has shifted, the mantle has fallen, and your role is sealed. The plan of heaven now lives within you. The moment of unveiling is near. You can already feel it, the air growing heavy, your spirit stirring without reason, your heart sensing that something sacred is approaching. This is not imagination, it is spiritual alignment. Heaven is preparing to bring into light what has long been hidden, and you must be ready to see it through heaven's eyes. The truth will not arrive gently. It will come like a wind that shakes the walls, like a voice that cuts through silence, like light entering a long-forgotten room. You will not expect the timing, and you may not be prepared for what you hear, but God says, "Do not fear it, for it comes from me." The coming revelation will not be to punish your son, it will be to free him. He will begin to speak, to open, to reveal things he once vowed never to say. There may be tears, there may be trembling, there may even be silence when words run out. In that moment, your response will matter more than anything else. Do not react with fear. Do not speak with anger. Do not let disappointment build a wall between you. Listen, hold him, let the truth breathe. You are not standing as a judge, you are standing as a healer. Heaven will give you words to speak, not to wound, but to restore. Michael warns, when the truth comes, do not rush to understand it, receive it. You may not grasp it all at once. Some details will unfold slowly. Some wounds will resurface before they can close. But God will be in the process. The truth may sting, but it will also cleanse. The light may hurt your eyes, but it will guide your steps. Every secret that surfaces will lose its power the moment it touches the light of grace. The things once whispered in shame will become the foundation of testimony. Do not share what you hear with careless ears. Not everyone will understand. Some will twist the story, others will gossip out of ignorance. But this truth is sacred. It is between you, your son, and heaven. Protect it, pray over it, cover it in love. What is revealed to you is not meant to be displayed to the world. It is meant to be sanctified in prayer. The revelation will pass through your home like a refining fire, burning away everything false until only truth remains. Heaven says, "This is the hour when courage meets compassion." The way you hold this moment will determine how healing flows. When he speaks, see not his failure, but his fight. See not his weakness, but his wounds. See not his shame, but his struggle to be free. You are the vessel through which grace will reach him. You are the one chosen to stand steady when his world trembles. And when the revelation comes, because it will come, remember this. Exposure is not the end. It is the beginning of healing, the threshold of freedom, the proof that God's hand is still on your family. Stand in love, stay in prayer, speak only what heaven would say. For in the coming days, the truth will stand before you, and when it does, you will know this is what heaven was preparing you for all along. Heaven never reveals without redeeming. Every storm that breaks in your life carries the seed of a sunrise, and every exposure that shakes you carries the breath of freedom. What is being unveiled now is not destruction, it is reconstruction. God is not tearing your family apart, He is rebuilding it from the inside out. He is not punishing your son, He is purifying him. The pain you feel is not the end of love. It is the evidence that love is still alive, fighting to heal what was hidden. The Lord says, "Do not mistake my correction for cruelty, for my hand only breaks what must not remain and restores what was always meant to be whole." Your son will not be lost. He will not remain in darkness. Heaven's mark is still upon him, even through his mistakes and his silence. The same light that exposes also redeems. The same hand that uncovers also heals. God does not reveal to condemn, but to cleanse, to deliver, to reclaim what belongs to him. The chains that once defined him are falling one by one, and soon the weight he carried will become the very proof of divine mercy. What once was shame will become testimony. What once was silence will become song. What once felt cursed will become crowned. Heaven reminds you, exposure is not the end of the story, it is the beginning of redemption. What was buried under secrecy is now being brought to life under grace. The The same God who let truth surface will not leave you to face it alone. His presence will fill your home like light at dawn, steady, gentle, unstoppable. He will teach you how to speak with compassion, how to comfort without condoning, how to see beyond what is revealed into what he is restoring. Every word you speak in faith will water the seeds of change he has already planted in your son's heart. And for you, heaven gives this promise. Your endurance will not be forgotten. Every tear you've cried for your child has been counted. Every night you stayed awake, praying without answers, heaven recorded. Every time you whispered, "Lord, please, don't give up on him," heaven whispered back, "Neither will I." God's plan is not delayed, it is precise. His mercy is not weak, it is deliberate. The same power that raised Lazarus from the tomb is moving in your family now, calling dead hope to rise again. Soon you will see the evidence. The eyes that once hid will begin to shine again. The heart that once resisted will soften. The voice that once trembled with guilt will tremble with gratitude. Your son will stand before you not as broken but as reborn. His past will not haunt him, it will humble him. His story will not shame your family, it will sanctify it. The enemy thought this revelation would destroy you, but heaven intended it to define you. God says, from this moment forward the curse is reversed, the promise is renewed, and the destiny is restored. So lift your head. This is not the collapse of your home, it is the resurrection of it. This is not a fall from grace, it is the fulfillment of it. What was once hidden in pain will now be revealed in power. You will testify to this moment, saying, "I thought I lost him, but heaven never did." And heaven will echo, "What I reveal, I redeem. What I expose, I exalt. What I begin, I will complete." This is the divine promise. You are not losing your son, you are witnessing his deliverance. Close your eyes for a moment. Let the noise around you fade until all you hear is your own heartbeat. That rhythm is not random, it is heaven reminding you that you are still here, still chosen, still covered. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, release every fear that has clung to you since this revelation began. The God who exposes also embraces. The one who uncovers pain also clothes you with peace. This is not a moment of despair, it is the beginning of restoration. Pray with me. Father, I stand before you humbled, not because I am worthy, but because you are merciful. You have seen every hidden thing and chosen not to destroy me but to deliver me. I thank you for the truth, even when it trembles inside me. I thank you for the light, even when it burns my eyes. I thank you for loving me enough to show me what I needed to see. Today, I release every fear, every question, every shadow. I surrender what I cannot control and trust that you are working all things for good. 1. Now pray for your son. Lord, I lift my child to you. You know his heart, his story, his struggle, his silence. You know the things he could not say and the battles he could not win alone. I ask that your light touch every corner of his being. Break every chain that has held him. Heal every wound that has silenced him. Restore every dream that has been buried by shame. Let the truth you revealed not crush him but cleanse him. Let your spirit dwell in him so deeply that even the enemy will recognize that he belongs to heaven. I cover him in your protection, your grace, and your purpose. Let his life become proof that no secret is stronger than your mercy. And now, pray for your family. God of generations, breathe upon my household. Let every curse end here. Let every blessing begin anew. Remove what divides and replace it with love. Heal what history has broken. May my home be a sanctuary of truth and tenderness, where no lie can live and no darkness can hide. Teach us to listen, to forgive, to speak only what brings life. Make our legacy one of light, not of loss. Take another breath and whisper this truth into your spirit. What was broken is being restored. What was lost is being found. What was hidden is being healed. These are not just words, they are decrees. Heaven listens when faith speaks. You are not praying to the wind. You are aligning your voice with eternity. The Lord says, I have heard you, I have seen you, I will finish what I began. Your tears are not wasted, they are seeds of breakthrough. Every prayer you sow tonight will rise like fragrance before the throne. Angels are moving, carrying your words as fire into the darkness. The war is over, the peace has begun. Now open your eyes. Look not with fear, but with faith. The world around you may look the same, but the atmosphere has changed. The unseen has shifted. Heaven has sealed what has been spoken. The promise stands. You are restored. Your son is redeemed. Your home is protected. So let your heart rest. Let your spirit breathe. You have fought the battle and kept the faith. The storm has revealed what it needed to reveal, and now the calm will carry what remains. The light of heaven is upon you, and the hand of God is holding your story. It ends not in tragedy, but in testimony. You are safe, you are chosen, you are free. Amen.